Good morning. Happy weekend. I hope you're having a long weekend like we are. It's been busy already, and so I thought I'd come out today and start to show you some of the things that we're doing. Since the week we saw you last, we had a ton of weather, just enormous amounts of rain through all of Northern California, and it was very exciting and also pretty serious for some people, and that's not very nice. We had a little flooding here, nothing dire, but what that means for the garden is it's really saturated. And then on the days that we didn't have rain, we had freezing temperatures. So it's been like extremes. It's kind of crazy. So the garden has suffered. I'll take you through. We'll take a look. There are some things still growing. There's always something growing. And this is my neighbor's lemon tree, Meyer lemon tree behind me. She's always incredibly generous with us. And so I thought I'd pick some lemons and make some lemon curd and my yearly jar of preserved lemons, and maybe freeze some lemon juice for the year. Tom, I think, is going to make yogurt and ricotta. He's also working on the light system for the seed table. I took some footage earlier in the week of the seed table and what's happening there now with my old light. That's pretty exciting. So there's a lot to see, even though we're not going to be digging in the dirt. Come on, let's check it out. Gosh, aren't these beautiful? Beautiful lemons. Let's get a bunch. So the crops that I have most success with in the deep winter are greens. Greens of all kinds. This is kale. And it's coming up nicely. I planted that several months ago, so that's how long it's taken to get to this stage. And Asian braising greens, I always have good luck with them. And it just takes a little longer when it's this cold and windy and rainy, and they always come up though. And then we have greens every day, and the chickens have greens every day, and I don't have to buy them. I hate buying greens because we always have so many in the spring. So this is looking good. This will be full. In just another month, this will be overwhelmingly full, which is great. Here's more greens doing really well. Chard. I've harvested from this several times. I'll put up a video of the greens that we ate earlier this week. So, you know, chard always does very well for me, but you can see that there's a lot of snail and slug damage, probably earwigs too. So this time of year with it so wet, I do put down Sluggo for the snails. Sluggo is OMRI listed, so it is considered an organic product, but I don't like to use it too much, and I only use it when we're in the deep of wet winter, and that keeps the eating of the leaves to a minimum. So I do spread Sluggo. If I can find snails or slugs, I give them to the chickens because they love them. I did seed turnips in this bed down here. The ground is very wet, but I did put in some turnips, so I'm hoping to have some really within a month. So I just had to show you our first harvest of 2017 Swiss chard. I'm sorry, I can't remember the variety of this. It was probably Bright Lights, and as you can see, the slugs have had their way with it. But it's still a beautiful, beautiful harvest, and we'll be having this with our dinner tonight. Isn't that gorgeous? Yay, the first of the year. Tom's busy making the lights for the seed table, so I'm going to make the ricotta because I'd like to have some for lunch, and it really doesn't take that long. So let's make it together, shall we? Okay, ricotta is very simple. It's basically a matter of milk and cream and lemon juice and salt, heat, and thyme. It's important to use the best milk you can find for anything fermented like yogurt, cheese. You want it to be organic, but you don't want it to be ultra pasteurized. And a lot of milk is ultra pasteurized if it's organic. I don't know why. So this Strauss milk that I get in the glass jar is good. It's pasteurized and it's organic, but it's not ultra pasteurized. So we want 3 cups of whole milk. Oh my, the cream has separated. Oh dear, what shall we do? Let's get that cream pushed down in there. Oh darn. Man, that reminds me of double cream in Britain. Boy, that was good stuff. All right, let's try that again. 3 cups of whole milk. Oh, see that lumpy cream coming out? Nothing wrong with that. That'll make our ricotta even better. There's 2 And we want one more. Okay, 3 cups of milk. Now you can do it with all whole milk and no cream, but I find with a little half and half or a little bit of heavy whipping cream for the last cup, it really makes it nice and rich. So this is half and half, a cup of half and half. All right, and then we need some salt. We need a half teaspoon of coarse sea salt. And then we put it on the heat. Now you're going to need a thermometer for this because you're going to want to raise the temperature up to, I think it's 190, I always look for 190 temperature, and then we'll stir in the lemon juice. As for kitchen thermometers, we use this Thermapen. This was expensive. It was probably close to $100, but we have found it's been worth every penny. It has this long needle that you can stick in to take the temperature, and we use it for everything: meat, milk, cheese, everything, yogurt, because it's just that good. So it's really worth it. It's worth the price of purchase. And now we need a lemon, and we just picked all those glorious lemons from the lemon tree. So let's juice a lemon. We need about three or so tablespoons of lemon. And what I like to do is use a lemon reamer, and I just use one of these to catch the seeds. Where is my lemon reamer? Here it is. So you know the trick about rolling a lemon while it's whole, to kind of break the little chambers, and that makes it easier to juice. I have found these lemons from this tree, next door tree, so juicy. So we need about 3 tablespoons of juice for this ricotta. I would say I'm gonna just go ahead and juice 2 lemons, which will be a little too much, but I'll use that for something else today, like the curd or just freezing. We are on our very last jar of juice from last year. It's from January 2nd of last year, and we had several jars in the freezer. I think we had 3 pint jars of lemon juice in the freezer, and we're now just on the very last one. So I would really like to juice enough lemons to have 3 pint jars again. Actually, that looks like 3 tablespoons of juice. I would say that's pretty close. Good, now we just have to wait for the milk to heat up. While our milk is heating up for our ricotta, I think I'll go ahead and make preserved lemons. So this is the jar that I made last year. It's huge, and we only used about half of it in the course of a year. So I'm not going to make that many this year. I think I'll put these in the compost, and I'll make a jar this big of lemons this year. And it's super easy. There's a formula. All you need are lemons and coarse salt. Coarse sea salt, which I just replenished. So for every lemon, you need 2 tablespoons of salt. And people try to make this really fussy by cutting them a certain way. I don't bother with that. What you're going to do is cut them, instead of cutting them in half the way you would a lemon normally, you're going to cut it long ways so that you have 4/4 of a lemon. And you don't want to worry about the seeds or any of that, because it really doesn't matter about the seeds. Now, what do I use these for? I use these for chicken. When I'm roasting a chicken and I want to put a lemon in the cavity, instead of buying a lemon that's it's out of season, I use my preserved lemon. I take a preserved lemon out of here. I don't rinse it off. I just put it in the cavity of the chicken. I also use them for there's a stroganoff recipe that we like a lot that uses preserved lemons, but you can find all kinds of uses. So I have 1 quartered lemon in here. So after each quartered lemon, I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of salt and cover the whole lemon. Now, 2 heaping tablespoons is fine. You want to make sure that the lemon is coated, so more salt is always fine. And then I'm just going to keep doing that until I have a full jar. Once you have all of the lemons in the jar. And here's the thing, you want to kind of pack them down a little bit. You don't want to push too hard just yet, because that's more work than it needs to be, but you want it to be quite full. So really get them stuffed in there. And later on we'll pack them down, but right now I'm just kind of making sure the thing is full. We want it full. Okay, and your last bit of salt. 1, 2 tablespoons. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this sit for a day and let the salt draw the moisture out, draw the juice out of the lemons, okay? There are some gaps here you can see, but what we're going to do tomorrow, or you'll do it on your own tomorrow, is that once this releases some juice, you'll push down the preserved lemons until the juice begins to raise up and cover them, and then you want to cover the rest of the jar with lemon juice. So reserve several lemons for after that process. After you've pushed down the preserved lemons after a day of sitting and they've released their juice, you'll add more juice so that juice covers all of the lemons. And this will get all squishy. And then you'll cover this up and you'll leave it out on your counter for a week. And every day you're going to come and you're going to shake it. And you're going to shake it up. And what will happen after about a week of doing that every day, the rinds of the lemons will get sort of translucent and shiny. And then after a week, you put this whole thing in the refrigerator and it will last a year, probably more, but I don't keep it for more than a year. And you can take them out and use them as you need. And if you need more recipes for preserved lemons, I suggest you Google it because there are a lot of great recipes. All right, I'm going to check the temperature on our milk now. Okay, what's the temperature of our milk? Let's look here. Can you see? It's about 168 degrees, so we still have a little ways to go till it's 190. Stir it frequently so it doesn't burn. Okay, it's 190, so 191, so it's time to turn off the heat, and then we will stir in our fresh lemon juice that we just squeezed. Once the lemon juice is in, very slowly give it a couple stirs. And then we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes while it develops curds. Okay, our timer has gone off. It's been 5 minutes. I want to show you what it looks like. It's formed curds. See that? It's separated from the whey. So what I'm going to do now is pour it into a cheesecloth lined bowl, colander inside of another bowl to catch the whey. So this will go in here. Curds and whey. And then you just gather up the ends of the cheesecloth and tie them. So I tie 1 knot. This is not easy. It's a little warm. 1 knot in those ends, and then I tie another knot, and then I hang it up. And I hang it up using, I've just taken an old coat hanger, one of the wires, and I just hang it up over the bowl and let it hang for hours until all the whey has drained out. All right, it's all hung up on our coat hook, and here it is hanging over, draining out the whey. We'll use the whey probably for yogurt later. And this doesn't make much. This makes about a cup of ricotta, but I really like it fresh, so I don't mind making just a little each time I want it. And that'll keep for several days in the fridge. And what I really like to do is I really like to put it on my homemade sourdough toast. So I take the sourdough out of the freezer where I've stored it, and I toast it up really nice and dark brown, and then I spread some of this ricotta on it, and then I usually put some butternut squash on it too, and that makes a nice lunch. Or you can put it on pizza, or you could put it in pasta. You could make ravioli, whatever you want to do with it. It's really simple and it's really, really tasty, so give it a shot. So while Tom is working on the lights for the seed table, I just got out my old grow light so I could start cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower, and I started them on January 10th, and check it out. I've got all kinds of germination. I'm so excited. I've never had luck with cauliflower, so I'm really hoping this year is my year. They're cute, aren't they? They're so cute. And cabbage and the broccoli here in the front. So I'm really excited to see that. And as soon as the lights go up, we'll start doing a whole bunch more seeding. Well, I don't know. According to my schedule, we'll have to wait till February for more seeding. So anyway, I'll let you know how that looks in the weeks ahead. Well, I guess that does it for another week here at Poppy Corners. Can you hear the hummingbirds flying around me? The manzanita behind me is starting to bloom, so everything's pretty excited about that. I have lots of hummingbirds around me right now. Anyway, I hope I've given you some ideas of what to do with your lemons if you live in California and you have lemon trees. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week wherever you are. And I hope you're doing some things outside. Even if it's snowy and cold, I hope you get outside in nature and enjoy it for a little while. I'll see you next week. Bye. Look who's here. Do you see this guy? Can you see this hummingbird? He's right in front of me. Here's the feeder. Oh,